Welcome to Swimming with Sepsey, where we break down various life topics, bring on inspirational guests to talk about their lives, their experiences, and encourage you to swim through your own inner thoughts, emotions, and feelings to inspire a change within you that will hopefully lead to an outer change in your own personal reality. I ask that throughout this episode and all future episodes that you come with an open mind, an open heart, and a willingness to look at yourself in a different way and to look at the world in a different way. I'm grateful for each and every one of you that's tuned in this current moment, and I look forward to sharing many more moments with you. And with that, let's dive on in. We scared Freya awake too. Mm-hmm. Hey, baby. She's so cute. I don't think you can see her in frame.
That was the same energy of like slicing through a wood plate, like a karate
plate, like a karate chop. You mean?
Exactly what I mean. Yeah, that was precise. That's what I meant.
Yeah, there we go. That was on point. Welcome to Swim with Sepsey with your host, Joshua Sepsey. And your co-host in the left corner.
Am I in the left corner?
We're in a
box.
Should I say the blue corner?
The blue corner.
The blue
corner and orange corner.
Yeah,
Sunset corner.
Sunset peach corner.
You're in Sunset Peach corner. I'm in
Sky
Blue Lagoon.
The Blue Lagoon. I like the Blue Lagoon.
Yeah, I like your shirt, bro.
Thanks, dog. We didn't do the intro. Hold on. I got Nicki in the Blue Lagoon corner. We got Nicki, Tama, Chesky. Thank you.
As always, bro, thanks for having me. Surprised you're still asking me to be on the podcast, bro.
Me too, dude. I'm like sick of it already. God.
18,
Does anyone else, literally anyone else, want to come on? Is this episode 18?
Actually, I think it might be 19, bro. 19.
No. This is episode 20, dude.
Damn.
We have 19. We recorded it last week.
We're starting college.
Welcome, everybody, to episode 20
That's
of
crazy.
Swimming with Sepsey.
That means 20 weeks, huh? 20 weeks total?
Yeah, I mean, we've done it every other week, so technically 40 weeks we've been doing it. We're approaching our year anniversary of actually dropping it. Well, my birthday, October 14th, is going to be the 1 year anniversary of Swimming with Sepsey.
That's crazy, bro.
To be honest, as people, whoever listens to this,
shout out Jimmy.
Shout out Jimmy.
What's up, Jimmy?
Yeah, she told me, hey, I don't want to, this last name is irrelevant, but I'm sure you know. Hey, Jimmy, appreciate you. She told me that you listen.
Adamantly, bro. Adamantly, bro.
That's awesome.
Yeah, on all platforms.
Yes.
He's a real one.
Jimmy. Shout out Jimmy.
This episode is dedicated to Jimmy.
We have like a little small ad. I like that. We should do that every episode. Shout someone out that listens. If we hear that they listen, let's do that.
That'd be cool.
Shouts out to you, Jimmy. Appreciate you. Where was I going with this?
Sorry, dude.
Just like went straight out.
You were talking about We were saying that 1 year anniversary.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. I was talking about the list. Okay, so what you were saying earlier when we were doing our little Tuesday routine, if I was going to announce the change of the name.
Oh yeah. Are you?
Am I?
Are you? Hold on to your butts, everybody.
Grab hold of your pantaloons. We are potentially doing a name change, only to keep everything cohesive. But I actually have to, before I do that, before I even announce it, which, who knows, Swimming with Sepsey is really fun. But also, Soully Living is the business name. So to be cohesive, we might just change the name. Ain't no rebranding or nothing, just going to change the name. I guess it is kind of like a rebrand. However, I got to make sure that with the powers that be and the systems that we run through will allow me to do that without having to create an entire new thing. So, we'll see. Anyways, with that being said, announcements. We still got shirts running. For those that might have tried to actually buy shirts online, I had to get the shipping set up on the website, so you probably weren't able to do it. So I got that fixed. So you are able to now purchase shirts. I am going to drop the rate, but we got the I am in the front. We have these in purple. We have them in green. We also have them in a black background, same colors, purple and green. These are going to be limited design shirts. So I am in the front and then Soully Living in the back for being solely living human beings. You're just solely living. Anyone that buys a shirt, anyone that buys any merch, like I said, we're going to do limited design on this one. I'll probably run it for a few months, but this one, for those that purchase, will be entered into a drawing, and I will pick 3 people a month to win a free reading of your choice. I think on my website it says past life. I'm going to change that. So any reading you want, Akashic record reading, past life reading, right to life reading, which is basically like a tree of life reading. Any of those, we'll give it to you for free. We'll announce those on the episode here, like on the upcoming month. So I think we're going to run this one until end of July, and then whoever we choose, we'll announce on the 1st August podcast. So, also, nope. No, I think that's it.
Bro, what? Oh my god. I felt exactly how all those people were feeling, bro. I was like, what is he about to say? You had me, dude.
I had something. I thought I had something, and then I didn't. I was going to announce another guest, but the guest will come on, and then we'll announce it later. All right. For those in my Phoenix area friends, I do want to do a little shout out. Tune into Higher Self Friendly, community that I've been engaging with. We do Higher Self Friendly chats almost every other weekend, every other Monday evening at a place called Lacuna in downtown Phoenix. It's a little kava bar. And next week on the 22nd, right? What's today's date? The 22nd, we'll be doing a conscious relationships and nonviolent communication conversation about that. So I'll be tuning in there. So hopefully whoever listens to this that's in the Phoenix area, you either come through or tune in. We do the lives through Instagram, so you can find it on Higher Self Friendly or HSF Friendly Chats, HS Friendly Chats, something like that. You can find that on Instagram. Today's topic, since last week's topic was kind of just Nicki and I freeballing it,
free
really.
Flow.
Yeah, we just fell into a space of, jazzing.
I like that. We talked about that, right? We talked about that last episode too.
Yeah, we
used
did.
that.
We did use that. Yeah, from soul.
Yeah, I like that. I like playing jazz.
Yeah, playing jazz is fun. Jazzing in life. So, this episode, I wanted to say brought to you by Jimmy.
You should have, bro.
We're going to actually go into the dream world. So we're going to talk about dreams. We're going to talk about daydreaming. And we're also going to talk about creating dreams and lucid dreams.
Dude, crazy.
Yeah.
Lucid dreams are insane, bro.
Do you do those a lot? Or have you tried?
I haven't actually actively tried. Like, there was this one book that like actually told me like a technique that you can like practice to actually be able to lucid dream more. And it was a book called, I think it was
Was it called Lucid Dreaming?
No. It was actually Tibetan Book of the Dead, I think.
I have that book. They
You
talk
do?
about lucid dreaming in that book?
They did. There was like one section where it was like how you can start to lucid dream more is like you basically when you're falling asleep, you like know you're falling asleep, like you're basically meditating, but just like when you fall asleep, just actively like feel yourself falling asleep. Oh shit. Because you know when like you're just going to sleep, you're kind of just like you're ready to be in sleep mode and you're super tired and you're like going to sleep. He was saying like, whoa, holy shit, bro.
Fireworks!
Yeah, firecrackers.
Fire in the hole!
Ow. You okay?
Should burn myself.
Okay.
Yeah, just, you know, when sage pops just means that the conversation is stimulating.
Really?
No. But that's, I
could see that, though.
Yeah,
I could
it's kinda
see
cool,
that
huh?
being a thing. Yeah. But he was basically saying, like, just be aware that you're falling asleep. So, like, as you're going, like, your heart rate's slowing down, you're being more relaxed, like, just, like, tell yourself, like, I'm falling asleep. It was weird. But, yeah, anyways, I haven't actually tried that too many times. I think I only tried it, like, once when I, like, heard that technique. But lucid dreaming, bro, I have, like, the craziest dreams. I feel just, like, I don't know. There was, like, a time in my life where I was having, like, the most, like, intense, insane dreams. And it was, like, where I was, like, having, like, multiple lives and dreams.
Really?
Yeah, or, like, I remember, I think
What was one of your lives?
one of my lives.
Yeah.
So the first one that it started, it actually had to do with Reiki. I remember I like went in this car and it was
Nice.
so crazy because like the whole dream like basically was a circle. And like I looped back to that beginning at the very end of my last life or whatever. It was so weird.
Interesting. Did you like do it? Was it like consecutive dreams? Like you looped back and started another dream, or?
Well, I just knew it was like almost Inception where it was like, oh, I thought I was going to be waking up, but like I'm in another dream or I'm like in a different state of mind. Like I knew I was like in a dream. I knew I wasn't like fully awake yet.
Right.
So it was just weird because I remember it started out as like I was like with these like this Native American woman like having a baby. And she was, like, in so much pain. And she was, like, screaming Bloody Mary. And we were in a car for some reason. But in the car, there was, like, a table. Mm-hmm. And I was like, okay, we need to put her on a table. I'm going to, like, give her Reiki as she's, like, giving her, like, giving birth. But then I remember, like, feeling a lot of fear. And I was like, holy shit. Like, I was, like, super scared that I wasn't going to be able to help her. And I wasn't. Yeah. I was, like, afraid that. So. But anyways, and then I ended up, like, in my dream, it was trippy, too, because, like...
Did she have the baby or no?
I never saw the baby.
You never got that part?
I never got that part, but it was, like, weirdly after that, where it was, like, they were like, oh, you should smoke some weed, and I was like, oh, I don't smoke weed, because I'm gonna freak out and lose my mind.
Whoa.
But I smoked a little bit of weed, and then I can't remember the bridge between the two dreams, but I remember, like... Oh, I think one of my friends was in the dream too, and like something happened with one of my friends where like, I don't know, we had like a little episode, you know, like I call it episodes because that was like another scene in the dream.
Yeah.
But it was just like something unrelated. It was like me and my friend going off on like some little adventure, and then like after that though, the other craziest part was like where I was in this like hospital, and they were telling like I was freaking out because I was like. They know that I know. And I kept...
They know that you know
yeah,
what.
Yeah, exactly. Like, I just had this, like, paranoia, like, this
Ooh.
feeling that, like, they know that I know. And I was, like, in this, like, hospital, and I was running away from them, and they were trying to stick syringes in me and put me to sleep. And and I remember being like...
I had a dream like that.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah. And I was like... And I always felt like that was, like, that similar paranoia we've both had before. And I was, like, just freaking out that, like, they were... like, something bad was going to happen to me. And I remember my friend that was, like, still in the episode before or whatever. Like, I remember, like, her head turned into, like, the globe, like, the world, and was spinning. And I was freaking out because I was, like, it just felt so big. Like, I was, like, that's pretty cool that you can do that, but, like, it's scaring the shit out of me. I was, like, I don't know. It was just weird.
Were you, like... Did she, like, blow up like the girl from Willy Wonka? With just her head?
Something like that, bro. Yeah. But it was, like, one of those... It was, like, her head was just, like, the world. And it was, like, spinning, and then I was just, like, what the fuck? That's
was it, like,
insane.
in the sky? Or was it, like...
It was just more,
planet?
like, in front of me, like, just spinning. Like, the earth was, like, spinning. But it was her head. Like, I knew it was, like, her head or something. But then, like... Oh, and then I had this, like, whirlpool feeling where I know, like, I'm, like, something's either gonna, like, I'm either gonna break out into paranoia or lose my mind or something like that. And I was, like, reaching that, like, point because I was, like, starting to freak out a little bit and, like, start floating away or whatever. And then, I think...
Like, out in space?
Like, not, like...
Like, flying? Or what do you mean by float away?
Float away as in, like... I don't feel, like, grounded in myself. Like, I feel more expansive, but it scares me to feel expansive like that, to where, like, it starts to be like, okay, I know I'm everything, and I feel everything, and this, like, feeling is so overwhelming because I feel like I could just float away and, like, be, like, lose my mind, essentially.
I wonder if there's a lot of, I mean, because, like, that's... So, like, dreams are going to show you... a couple things like that I've understood. They'll show you potential. They'll show you fears. They'll show you, like, outcomes. Some people have, like, prophetic dreams where they'll show you, like, outcomes. But they'll be, like, a little different. Like, it may seem like you're in like, different kind of reality, and, like, a situation will almost mirror image whatever situation you may be going through. Right? And there's different maybe conversations, and people play different parts throughout the dream because your subconscious is putting out all this stuff so that way you can work through whatever the hell has been going on in your regular life. So it's gonna, like, put that Native American woman, it could have been like a part of your subconscious of I need help, and we got to birth this new part of you. And there was, like, I'm afraid, but I know I have the power to do so, which is why you wanted to do Reiki on it, right? And it's like, oh, shit, I never thought of it like that, right? So dreams are actually, like, super strong and super powerful, which is why I'm so grateful that I dream often and a lot. So I recommend, like, I personally don't do it only because, like, that's interesting. I'm going to recommend something but not do it. I used to do it, but I don't do it anymore because I switched from journaling about my dreams to the dreams that are the most potent are the ones that I'll remember. So the ones that I know I have to learn from something or, like, gather some information from have become the ones that I just kind of remember. And the Akashic Records just kind of brings dreams back. Like, I remember dreams that I had when I was, like, 10. Like, and even before that. So if you want to start remembering your dreams and decoding them, I'd recommend journaling about them first. And then it'll open up the space for you to start remembering your dreams a little bit more. For those that don't dream, I would think about what you're doing before bed and how much stress you hold in your life. And if you smoke weed before bed, that's usually a big one, or whatever medications you might be taking.
Like, you won't dream as much if you are?
Yeah. Like, a lot of people say, like, oh, you smoke weed to go to sleep, right? And they don't really dream that often. And then when they stop smoking weed for a certain amount of time, they have like just a flood of dreams start coming in, like where they're just like having these crazy dreams happen, right? Some of my favorite dreams are lucid dreams. Because that beginning part that he's saying is you allow the body to fall asleep. Then once the body shuts down, you got to be because like your mind is always going to like want to, scratch my nose, or, you move your leg, or, adjust. And so you really have to kind of breathe and calm the body down while keeping the mind awake. And the focused effort allows you to kind of slip into this space where it's like very thin. And then once that is reached, you then slip into that kind of dream space where some people astral project, some people lucid dream. There's a difference. Right? Astral projection, you're kind of, leaving your body and kind of floating around in the area and understanding, maneuverability and seeing different things, like being able to travel, areas and stuff like that. Lucid dreaming, then you kind of get dropped into a place. And there's always like some sort of aha moment that it'll try to bring you. Like, have you ever seen the movie Waking Life?
Mm-mm.
Oh, man. Waking Life literally is about lucid dreaming.
Really?
Yeah. And it's so cool. It's like an animated movie. I think it's on HBO.
Sounds cool.
My buddy Neil and I watched it together over the phone, which is pretty funny. He like called me. He's like, "What are you doing?" I was like, "I'm just kind of hanging out at home." He's like, "You want to watch a movie?"
Aw.
So we just did the speaker and watched it. And I never had seen it before. And that movie was really cool because they really touch on how to start lucid dreaming and what lucid dreaming is all about. And they were like, "Oh, if you ever see a clock, try and see what time it is. That's how you know you're in a dream." Yeah. Because you won't see any clocks. Look for a clock. You won't see a clock.
But like, how do you tell your mind?
There's no time.
Yeah. How do you tell your mind to see a clock when you're dreaming though?
No, you just look for one, not create one. You just look for a clock, and usually the numbers will be all. If you see one, usually the numbers are all jumbled up, like if you see like an analog clock. But the time is just weird.
So like you'll tell yourself that before you go to sleep, and then like
while you're in the dream, while you're dreaming, while you're lucid dreaming. While you're in the midst of a dream, it's this awareness of where am I? What am I doing right now? So you have to like pause yourself. It takes like a sort of mental effort, but that's where you get into the beginning of the lucid dream, is when you realize, I'm dreaming. So a lot of times for me, I lucid dream a lot because I catch myself. Like, I don't purposely do it, but I catch myself middle of the dream and go, "Oh, okay, this ain't real. None of this is real."
Damn, really?
Yeah.
You actively know that in your dream?
Yeah. So
That's
like
crazy,
I'll be like, a lot of the times the major part is like, in dreams where like you can't move.
Yeah.
You're like trying to fight something and you're like moving really
Hate
slow.
that.
I
Hate those
immediately go,
dreams.
"Okay, I'm in a dream." Now I'm stuck to a space where she's sleeping, dog.
Sorry.
Go to sleep, bro.
I saw her stretch her toes. I had that real urge to just grab her
Yeah,
foot.
she's cute. Don't-
Sorry, Freya.
She's like, "Leave me alone." She turned to like be defensive now. She's like, "All right, now I know where you're coming. I can see."
Aw, dang. I'm sorry.
Just kidding.
Freya.
She's cute. Look, she's like, "I'm gonna go to sleep."
Couldn't help myself. I'll leave this here for you.
But so like while I'm in the dream, and those specific ones, like I'll recognize, "Oh, I can't move," or like, "Oh, I'm moving really slow." That immediately triggers like, "Okay, this isn't real," because I know I'm faster than this, or I
Damn.
know I can actually walk if I needed to, or run if I needed to.
Damn, lucky, bro.
So then from there, well, it's just practice. It's like anything, you just have to train it.
Yeah.
So the more that you train it, the easier and quicker it becomes. So like when I was really young, I was dealing with that. Like I was like 8 having these kinds of dreams, and I would hate it. I'd be stuck. And I'm like, I have to figure out a way out. I have to figure out a way through this.
Dang.
So every time it was consecutive. Every time I got into that space, I said, I would just sit there and pause and go, "What can I do?" what was moving. So like, for example, if my arms were really slow, well, then I could use my legs and then move that way and get around that way. And if my legs were really slow, okay, so I had to figure out, okay, well, I can at least move my arms. So how do I try and do this together? So what I did was I started to go on all fours. So like,
That's hilarious.
I can't run, so I would go on all fours. But okay, I can at least use my arms. So then I would kind of like run like a bear.
Dang.
I start to move like a bear. I was like, okay, ooh, this is cool. I can throw myself and start to run. And then it took a couple dreams for me to realize, okay, well, now I'm doing that, you know. Then I got to a point where I was like able to like throw myself and lunge, and like I would leap across like mountains and like almost be like I was almost flying. Because you ever had those dreams where you fly? Mm-mm. You never had a flying dream?
No. And
Damn.
That's why I was like, for a second, I like took a second to think, because I was like thinking that fear of like floating away, I think that's part of why I don't lucid dream as much.
Probably.
Because I think I'm afraid to let go in that space.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That also has to do with like your external life.
Yeah.
What are you afraid to let go of? Right? It's trying to show you something. We don't have to get into it now.
Yeah, it makes
but,
sense.
But so those parts is where, you know, then I was throwing myself and running, and I was like, oh, sorry, everybody. I was like launching myself forward. Then I got to a point where I could launch myself forward and like glide. And I was like, oh, that's cool.
That's crazy.
And then I got to the point where I was just, I could do that for a little bit, almost like get like a running head start, and then throw myself, and then I could fly.
Dang, bro.
I could control the movement, the flight.
That's crazy.
Now it's to the point where if I'm stuck, I just go, oh, let's fly. And then I'll just jump and then fly. Almost like Neo in the Matrix.
Yeah.
Because I know it's not real. I know it's fake. Sometimes it takes a little bit because it gets really hard. There's some times where I'm like, I'm really trying. And I'm like, what's going on? Like, I know this is a dream. Why can't I fly? And there's like a mental blockage that I have to overcome. And so then I have to like relax, and then I just jump, and then I have to close my eyes and let it just start to float, and just float. And then I start to get control of it. It's almost like, have you ever seen Hook? With Robin Williams?
No, but that's the Peter Pan one,
where
right?
he's trying to figure out how to fly. And they're like, think happy thoughts, Peter.
Yeah.
Think happy thoughts. And similar to that, I don't think happy thoughts, but it's like, I let go. I let go. I let go of this. I know this is a dream. I know this is false. I just like, I let go and like let my body. Okay, my body knows what to do. Like, I know what to do. I'm overthinking it and bringing myself to a space of reality, of what's possible, right? I'm limiting myself to the physics, to this 3D world. But in a dream, there are no physics. You are the creator. So you can do whatever you want. So I just flew out of there. I would fly out of places. Or fly when I get stuck. Or just like fly different places. Like, I've had tons of dreams like that.
Dang.
Super cool.
That is cool. Do you fly every time when you feel blocked? Has there ever been a time when you haven't like worked through it?
For sure.
Yeah.
Well, so this most recent dream, I actually had like a vehicle to fly me.
Dang, dude, now you're just like, you got your Subaru in there now, bro. You're like, I want my little...
It was pretty cool. It was
That's
like a cool vehicle. It was like a one-seater, kind of like little seat right here, and it had like a propeller in the front.
Dang.
And it would just fly me around.
That's really cool.
Yeah. It was a pretty sick vehicle. And it was, this one was an interesting dream, though, because it had a lot to do with like the air quality. And where we were at, we had to leave. Like, it got to a point where like the air quality was poisoned, and so we had to leave and move out of here. But I remember like earlier in the dream, it wasn't like that. Like, earlier in the dream, I was like scoping out, what was I was like scoping out some sort of like operation, like some sort of like freaking like I was like a spy.
Dang, dude, that's crazy.
And I was like checking out this place, and that I like flew in, but then I remember like I was like about to get jumped, so I had to fly out. Right, I had to get myself out of there.
Yeah.
And like start the car and like fly out, and then I realized, okay, why is this? It started like going down, and I was like, what's happening? Like, why? Like, I couldn't fly anymore, And then I come to realize, like, oh, the air like there's a huge meeting going on in the city, in the town. And it was like, oh, the air quality is really bad. The air quality is actually super toxic. So I was like, okay, that's why I can't fly.
Dang.
Because there's poison in the air. So we had to, like, leave. We had to move.
That's crazy.
Yeah, I remember Meredith's one who came up to me and was like, she was like, this was prophesied. So she's like, she knew that there was, like, some prophecy that, like,
that
oh yeah,
was gonna
I was
happen.
told that this was gonna happen, and I was like, "Oh,
Dude,
that's wild!
crazy.
Let's get out of here." So we all, like, a bunch of our friends and
Yeah.
like packed up and started leaving,
Damn.
like caravanning. Come to find out today, she goes, I guess yesterday or the day before that was like because of the dust storm that Phoenix air quality was absolutely terrible.
Oh, dude, that's so weird.
Yeah,
I have dreams like that too that are like connected to either the next day or like sometime that's coming
some
up.
prophetic dreaming?
Prophetic dreaming. Yeah.
Yeah. That's one thing, like, I want anyone that's listening to is, like, if you have dreams like that, you're not crazy. There's tons of people that have dreams like that. And to lean into those and to kind of trust those when you are made to remember a dream, there's something very important about it. Meaning, like, if you can sit there and recollect, as I'm talking about this now, right now, whatever dream is coming up for you and your mental thoughts, pay attention to that dream. Lean back into it. Replay it over and over again. That's what I do throughout my day. So, like, if I have a dream, I will constantly, as I'm going throughout my day, replay the dream. Replay the dream. Replay the dream. And what I'll do is I'll go from the very last thing that I remember, okay, and then I'll continue. What happened before that? What was I doing before that? What was I doing before that? And I'll just slowly backtrack in the dream. And slowly backtrack until I'm like, oh, here's the whole dream starts coming out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what's so weird, bro? As you were saying that, like, do you ever get in these spaces where, like, you're talking about dreams, remembering dreams, and you're either trying to remember the dream you had last night, or, like, let's say you're trying to recollect a dream. Like, I literally feel like there's, like, this, like your subconscious is just, like, this, like, pool that you could just pull out of sometimes.
Sure.
Because literally, like, sometimes...
It's tied to the Akash.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
It's tied to the Akash.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Because sometimes, like, when I'm trying to remember a dream that I'm not even trying to focus on will pop up.
Sure.
And that'll pop up. And I'm like, where did this come from? Because I know that wasn't, like, a dream from last night, unless it was. And I'm like...
Could have been tied together
Yeah, exactly.
somehow.
Dude,
Yeah.
that shit always trips me out, too.
Yeah. Well, a lot of cool, like, the coolest part, too, is, like, there's a lot of, like, when I was saying how sometimes you'll astral travel, sometimes you'll lucid dream, sometimes you'll do both.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Isn't that
Have you
what you
ever
were
felt
doing,
like
though?
when you get really tired, when you wake up, like, exhausted, and you have, like, a crazy dream, and
Yeah.
you've done a lot,
Yeah.
you feel like, oh my God, like, I was running from shit. I was,
Oh,
like,
yeah.
helping people. I was doing all
Man.
this stuff. Like, oh my God, I felt like I was in a whole different world.
Yeah.
You traveled, for sure. 100%. 100%. The only time that, like, you have dreams that really are connected to you is, like, a lot of time, because a lot of those dreams, too, there are people that feel like people you know, but they look different.
Yep. I've had those, too.
Yeah. Those
lot
are
of those
usually,
ones.
like, you're in a different space dream.
I have a lot of those. Because
Yeah.
usually I'm like, I always have these dreams where I'm like, I know it's not this person, but it's the energy of this person. I know it's this person. I have those all the time.
Do you ever wake up, like, after those and exhausted? A little bit more tired?
I don't
throughout the
remember.
day?
I don't remember, like, I don't, like, my memory's never like, oh, like, I can place that.
Oh, okay.
But maybe it's because I wake up usually pretty tired, but there's not a direct connection between the two. I don't know,
Okay.
though. But I definitely
Pay
know.
attention to it now.
Yeah, maybe I
think
will.
about it now. Like, I've had this was one of my craziest dreams. Not one of my craziest, but one that I'm like, oh, okay, I was in a whole different place. So there was a time where I had this dream that I was literally, the world was, like, splitting. Right? There was something coming. Didn't know what it was, but everybody was going north. for some reason. Like everyone's hiking up north. Everyone's leaving all their stuff, all their belongings, and they're going north. And there's these giant mountains, and I'm like following them north. I'm like running, jumping on these giant mountains, like just overlooking everything as it's going down, like watching everybody, and like realizing that there's this like dark entity that's coming from the south.
Damn.
And I stopped in, and I saw, and I just like heard. Before I did this, I heard, "Stop going north. You need to go south."
You need to fix the darkness?
I need to fix whatever's going on.
Dang, dude.
And so I paused as I was watching, and I was like, and they were like, everyone else is gonna be fine, but you need to go. If you don't, it's gonna be hell to pay. So I stopped, and I like, all right, well, I have to say goodbye to everybody. So I popped in, I like dove down into this, what seemed to be this like run down like trailer park area, and I like went through this one, and it was my mom. Didn't look like my mom. And then like my mom is one of my mom's best friends. We call her Titi Cheryl. She's like my aunt, family friend, but my aunt, right? And I was like saying goodbye to them, and I was like, I have to go do this again. Like I have to go take care of this. And they knew. It was like, oh yeah, we know. You know, so we
so
hugged,
weird.
and like I was like, okay, you know, and they're like, well, I think my mom was like, you think you're going to be able to do it again? Yeah. And I was like, I have to.
Dang, dude,
I have no
crazy.
choice. And so said goodbye to them and hopped out. And then I'm like, as I got out, I was like, I don't know where I'm going. As soon as I like had that thought, then like 3 giant power lines like erected like along the mountains, and like we're going straight south. And they were like, follow the power lines.
What? That's
so
crazy.
I started running on the power lines. So I was like, well, I don't have to fly. So I just started running on the power lines. And then it got to the point where I felt like, oh, it being followed. Like, okay, because I'm like up there. I had gotten pretty far south. And then like it was making my way towards the middle of the city. And it's like, oh, you're being followed. You've been spotted. So I was like, okay. So I dove down into the city, ducked around a couple things, and then like hid inside this shop, and like was like tucked underneath this like a desk. And I was like, I felt all this energy like come around the corner, and there was like multiple entities, like multiple people. And I remember like I could like see as they were coming up, and as soon as they turned the corner, I recognized they're friendly. And I got up, and it was Demi, it was you, it was a bunch of other just different entities that I had no idea. But obviously, you guys didn't look the same. Everyone looked like just different entities, like alien-like entities.
Damn.
And like we're all like in some like, you know, priestly robes and shit.
Damn,
it was
bro.
wild. And I
That's
got up
crazy.
and I looked at them, and I was like, they already knew that I had to go south. They were like, hey, we came to see you off. And I was like, I have to go. I have to do this again. And we all hugged, cried, and then they went north, and I continued south. And then I woke up, and that was the end of my dream.
Damn.
Like, so those dreams, like that whole place, like
Yeah.
that whole area looked nothing like Earth. Absolutely nothing like Earth. I was moving like there was no gravity. Like there's like, I have a recollection of dreams where it's like, okay, this feels like Earth, right? This feels like Earth. This one, completely different. Like
Damn.
it was like wild. Like
Yeah.
the towers were totally different. Like the ground and things were totally different. It was just like a whole interesting plane, right? So those I for sure, like, yeah, I went to a whole different space, whole different dimension.
That's wild, bro.
And I'm sure there's tons of people like that. And so that's where it gets into the combination between lucid dreaming and astral projection or quantum jumping, right? People talk about quantum jumping in a space like, oh, I'm quantum jumping in this timeline. Yes, I mean there's a whole thing about it. They and I think it's on Gaia TV or something like that where they talk about quantum jumping. There's like some sort of course so you could teach you how to quantum jump, and like that
Joe Dispenza
Dispenza.
also talks about quantum jumping a lot.
because there's a way that you tap into those energies. So like, for example, if I were to tap into that energy of that entity that was me in that timeline, I could ask
about what it is that I can utilize in this timeline where I'm at now. What powers, what gifts, what abilities, what have I learned that I didn't learn? What can I bring into this to create what I need to, right? There's attributes that you then atone in this specific timeline. So that's really where the quantum jumping comes into place. You have to connect with that part of it. So the dream allows you to see it. But when you actively are trying to connect with it, that's where the real deep part of the meditation comes into. And I use the term meditation, but it's like a really deep state meditation where
That's
you're
crazy.
releasing the same chemicals as when you're dreaming. You're reaching that theta vibration to allow you. Is it theta? Delta.
I forget which state it is, but yeah.
One of them is the dream state.
It's the
One of
lower
those.
state, right?
Yeah. Whatever the
Lower
lower
vibe,
ones.
yeah.
So when you reach that frequency, then you can start to connect, and you have to hold that intention, obviously, of what you want to connect to. So the dreams are really potent. Like if I wanted to go back, I could go back and get stuff from that person or something like that. So, but I've also had dreams where I've literally like bent the elements, like fucking Avatar.
Dang.
Like those are really cool.
That's crazy.
I'm sure there's a lot of people out there that have like, crazy dreams like that. But lucid dreaming is like, it takes practice. And I think the biggest thing to like think of is when you go to sleep, set the intention to try and be aware of whatever you're doing in your dream.
That's exactly what that author was saying too in that book. That's what I was saying. Yeah.
Yeah. We're all Dekash, bro. I ain't never read that book. I think I actually have Tibetan book of Living in the Dead. Like
that
the
one.
Precursor.
Yeah.
Is it the same one? Because I think there's one that's just the dead.
It is. I think that's
one
the
dead and living
Egyptian one. There's like an Egyptian one. There's a Tibetan one. The Tibetan one is the one that, like, I have on audiobook, and that's the one that guy was talking about. That. No, dude, that's crazy though. Dude, that one dream I was telling you about in the beginning of the podcast, like, where you're like talking about quantum jumping and like the gifts and abilities, like I never saw that as quantum jumping, but I literally went to this like place that was like a train station, and I was talking to these people, and they were like giving me guidance because I died after they like put syringes in me. I went to this other place, and I woke up in this like train station, and they were literally like, they told me, they're like, did you see how fast that you freaked out and you started to lose control? And they told me, like, see how fast, like, negative thoughts can, like, do that to your mental state. And, like, if you follow that, they're, like, the same thing with positive thoughts. And then they also told me everything is color and frequency. And they sent me back with that information. And that was what I got for the next life. And then,
you got that for this life, dog.
Yeah, for this life, yeah.
Yeah.
I know. And
it's a mix, yeah.
Yeah, that was crazy because I was like, maybe that was quantum jumping too, but I never saw it as that.
100%. Well, yeah, 100%. But also, it's like that's communicating to your guides. Like they needed to tell you that.
Yeah.
You know, because you're on that path, they were like, all right, we need you to see this and try to integrate this because they're witnessing your subconscious traveling, right? So your subconscious has a hard time if you ever go into those quantum jumping dreams or lucid dreaming dreams and you just randomly wake up. Mm-hmm. It's because there's a part of your belief system where your subconscious is like, nope, can't handle this. And it pulls you out of the dream early, or it pulls you out of the space. Like when you could be like, right before you get to fly, boom, yep, woke up. Or right before, I died, I woke up. Right? You had to experience so it was a syringe, and I mean, I could be interpreting this wrong, but I don't think so. The syringe, it was such a slight thing that your subconscious, it allowed you to bypass the subconscious thinking that it was dying. It was like, oh, we're just going to give you a little syringe that's like, oh, you got knocked out, right? Mm-hmm. When you actually were like needing to, quote unquote, die to go to this place to like be able to connect. Because had you just saw those people in your dream, you would have been like, what? You had to like experience this frightening, negative emotions, running, blah, 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 to be like, poof, let me get this lesson real quick.
See,
Let's show you why you ended up dying, right? Because then you need to bring that to your waking life, which is this life. On now, this is how you create. Your negative thoughts are going to lead you in one path. Your positive thoughts are going to lead you in another path. Which ones do you choose to feed? It's really what they're telling you. And then frequency and color, which is really cool because everything literally is frequency and color. It's all it is. Vibration, color. That's why we see color, right? Light. Sucks that we can only see a certain percentage, right, with our eyeballs, but you can feel the other percentage and understand the other percentage of like higher and lower frequencies, right? Does that make sense?
Yeah,
Hopefully that makes sense.
Yeah, dude, not to like keep going on like with our dreams and stuff, but there was that one.
Dude, it's how we interpret them. So like, I'm gonna cut you off before you go into there. The cool thing is, and I want to say this real quick, is that the dreams that you have when you're sleeping, the lucid dreaming, or any dream of that matter, allows you and shows you that your external life can also be a dream. Okay, so where I'm going with this is the things that you tell yourself or desire to create. That's why they tell you, "Oh, what's your dream? What is your dream job? What does your dream life look like?" And you just go off in this daydream and start tangibly creating it. Blah blah blah. But a subconscious belief system goes, that's not possible because we call it a dream, and a dream is what you do when you're sleeping, and it's just this magical place. When both have a playing field in this space of reality, this is where you go work on a lot of your subconscious and experience yourself at different levels. This right here in this reality is where you actually have the power to actively go and take the actions to create the dreams that you imagine in the subconscious and in your regular, in your imagination, right? There's no, like when they tell you and they say like literally there's, nothing stopping you from creating your dreams. It's literally just you. Your inner monologue is the only thing that's keeping you from attaining the things that you want to attain. And your inner beliefs are the only thing that's stopping you from attaining what you want to attain. The reason why I chose dreams is because we need to connect the two, right? Because there is no separation between the dreams that I have when I'm asleep and the dreams that I have when I'm in reality, right? The only separation is the subconscious beliefs that tell me I can do some crazy shit here. And then when I'm awake, my eyes deceive me and say, you can't do that shit here. When what I want to get to is, oh, I can fly in this life. I'll get there. There's a part of this physical waking space that I have to overcome. But I mean, it took me from like age 8 to, I don't even know when I actually really started constantly flying. I was like 20 years old, 22 years old, right? It wasn't that long ago where I was like, oh, now I can fly all the time. But it took that long of a span of practice to understand, like in a dream state, right? So now I'm correlating. Okay, so there's a possibility. People levitate and things like that. But there's also part of me that's like, is that even helpful in this day and age? Why would I need that, right? And then so there's like, gifts and abilities are starting to become more prominent nowadays because the belief system of the collective consciousness is shifting to, oh, I can do these things. The energy is inside of me. And so you start bringing it out into, if I can connect to the frequency of what that frequency is, then I can do that at will. I can override this matrix, so to speak.
So would you say that lucid dreaming then will help you with that?
100%. It's like a you've seen the Matrix.
Yeah.
It's like a training ground. You're just uploaded into this training ground of consciousness. And it shows you that you have the power to create whatever you want remember that lyric I had when I was like, whatever I want, I'll create it from light. You can't argue me because I know that I'm right. What is light but a frequency? That's all it is. So I can create anything I want from attaining that same exact vibration and that frequency, and just being like, this is where I need to get to. This is what I need to vibrate at to be able to call in this life. Mm-hmm. And it may take a little bit in the external world to start attracting that, but I can vibrate it as it now.
So when you say like I just like to like rehash this stuff, because I feel like some people will be like, maybe if those people who are watching or listening maybe will be like, well, how do I hold a vibration? Like, do they know what that means? Like, to hold a vibration?
Okay.
You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
So I was going to say, like, so I was just going to, like, break it down, like, your thoughts and, like, your belief systems all carry a certain amount of vibration or a frequency. Mm-hmm. So, like, depending on if that's a belief of something negative, that's going to be a more dense, that's going to hold you, like, down more, like, reality. Into this reality.
Well, okay, let me rephrase that. Not down into the reality, right? Because it's all... It's all blended. But down into, like, a really... Like, it's not even a grounded level. Like, the negativeness is like a heaviness.
Yeah, it's a
like
heaviness.
I mean, you think of, like, when we were doing the episode where I talked about how, you know, the lower waveforms, the lower vibrations are just really long, drawn-out waveforms. The higher frequencies are really quick, which is why when you're manifesting and you're in that high vibration, things happen super quick. Opportunities, seizing. But you also have, when you have quick highs, you have quick lows. But the lowers are a little bit different. So your quick highs, quick lows. So holding an intention is really the start of, like, where that frequency is going to come from. So when you have a dream, when you have an idea, when you have a goal, when you have something you desire to create in your life, you have to sit with how you are feeling when you build that dream. For example, your dream when you were afraid. Your entire dream shifted. You were being chased. You were paranoid. Mm-hmm. Right after you had this beautiful part of, well, I'm about to help deliver this child. Mm-hmm. Right? That's high energy. Well, I know I can do Reiki. As soon as the thoughts switched, the dream switched.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
So the same thing in this life. As soon as your thoughts switch, your reality switches. So when you're holding an energy of knowing and, like, positivity and love and being grateful and knowing you're worthy and finding out that you deserve to have the life that you quote unquote dream of, you begin to align with that more and more as doubt begins to creep in, as fear begins to creep in, because you're expecting it to happen instantaneously, right? Because in your subconscious mind, it can happen instantaneously. In your waking mind, it can happen instantaneously. We don't believe it. That's the problem. That's the negativeness. That's the lower vibrational, right? Because when we're trying to bring something down, we feel like it takes a long time, because we are thinking that, it's going to take, I need all this money. I have to work to get all this money, and working takes time, and time equals money, and blah, 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 blah. False. I want to create something right now. And if I need it to happen, in the concept of things, in the concept of frequency and energy and manifestation, if I wanted a taco right now, and I really set this energy, I could have a taco randomly appear. Whether it be someone texting me saying, hey, do you want some Taco Bell? Or like, hey, let's go get tacos. Mm-hmm. I'm feeling tacos today, right? It's Taco Tuesday.
Yeah. And,
like, so the opportunities will start to arise. Like, Miranda needed a hairdryer. I don't have one. Dalton's girlfriend was here. Boom. Or was on her way. Mm-hmm. Hey, see if she's got one to bring real quick so we can... Or no, wait. Other way around.
Yeah,
she needed one. You guys were on the way. I was like, I don't have one, but I have people on the way. Let me ask. Boom. Got one. Boom. Mm-hmm. Easy. And it came in the right timing where she was like about to leave, but went and did something. And so like she told me no, and I was like, bring it anyways, because I'm sure by the time you guys get here. So like that, it's how quick things can manifest in your life when you start to ask and have the right intention of, oh, you know, I like to make things happen. So I'm working on and actively shifting that vibration to a positive one, which I do a lot, and I've been doing a lot. And so my reality has shifted into less doubt and fear and more faith and acceptance and gratitude. And that's how things have just slowly started to align. It's going to take a little bit of time because I've lived so much in that energy. And so that is what needs to be shifted, is the mental aspect. But also the mental aspect, and I'm just learning this within the last year or so, is that the thought vibration only goes so far. Meaning that the energy and the power of that isn't as strong as where the heart is. That's stronger. Also, in the actions that you take. So it's like a build-up. Is they all have to be on the same wavelength for things to happen a lot quicker. So when you're living out of love and you're living from your heart and what you desire and how you desire to live your life and you know how you desire to be, and the highest vibration is authenticity. Everyone thinks it's love. It's actually authenticity. That's why we did How to Be Authentic. That's why the coaching program is about finding where you are authentically. Is because that is actually the highest vibration. And when you reach that, they've done studies on it, like being authentic. They've had a bunch of people in a room, and the energy radiating off people who are more authentic and just being themselves was a lot higher, because you're aligning the head and the heart. They're one. They have the same intention. They have the same desire. They have the same thought process. The energy is built. And so the heart's expanding, and so the mind then begins to create, and then it allows the heart to expand that energy even further and expand the field even further to then connect even deeper to self and then to the collective consciousness. So when you're dreaming, that is the energy that you want to find, is where is the authentic me in this? When you were in that dream of fear, and or not, before you were in that space of fear, you were authentically you. You were like, and already knew what to do. Yeah, I'll help you. I can do some Reiki. And then that spot of like that small little doubt of worthiness and like unsureness started to creep in, and then it shifted. Oh, I'm running away now. Oh God, you know? And it's like, hey, let's retract that. You don't need to run away. Right? Recognize that's you and be able to live like that. So that's where then shifting from that spot, like holding that frequency to then holding a powerful thought vibration of one of authenticity and love and gratitude. So that's what I mean by holding frequency, is the emotions and understanding your own emotions and your reactions to the external world, right? Because the only thing that we allow to change our emotions, well, first off, should only be you. The only thing that you should allow ever change your emotions should be you. If you allow other people to start shifting your emotions and the way you feel, you're never going to get anywhere in life. You're going to live the exact same life as everyone around you. But if you can attune to, this is who I am, I'm always going to be happy, calm, collected, and authentic. Nothing that goes on outside of you is ever going to change who you are desiring to be, what you are dreaming to create, what you are looking to create in your life. So, and the hard part is, and they want me to explain this here, is that your reaction starts to override your current state. And we deem this reaction as us. Mm-hmm. Right? Whoa. This guy said something and it made me mad. Did it make you mad, or was there a part of you that you haven't looked at yet inside of you that's triggered? Because it didn't make you mad. No. It triggered a part of you that hasn't been healed yet or that you've repressed. And that's making you mad because you haven't come to terms with it yet. You haven't come to terms with this space of deservance or understanding of other people. Or you're actually mad because they don't understand. So you're upset that someone else you can't control is feeling something different. Let me kind of explain that. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Back to dreams. But I mean, we were still on topic with dreams. So that's kind of what I didn't think we were going to get. Oh shit, we're already an hour in. I didn't think that we were going to get to that part so soon, even though we're already 60 minutes in. I'm trying to see what else. The lucid dreaming we touched on. We touched on dreams and reality, and dreams, the connection between the two.
I think you
What
were.
do you got?
I was just gonna say, like, I know another topic you wanted to talk about was like creating the dream, like in this life. But you've already. That's what we were just talking about. Yeah.
Yeah.
On how to do that.
Yeah.
There was something that I was. I think I was just gonna probably go deeper into all that, like of how to do it, just because I know we're both passionate about that stuff. But
is there like a question or like something that like you feel like you get commonly stuck on?
Well, I was just gonna like basically add that like in order to change your behaviors, because I feel like the behavior is where like, because I feel like the order is like, okay, you have a desire maybe that you want, and like in order to have this said life or like this dream or desire, like something needs to change inside you, like what you're saying, belief systems.
Right.
And like then I wanted to talk about like, because like in the decision making, I feel like that's where people get frustrated and maybe feel like discouraged, because the decision making is the hard part of like, how do I choose something different? And that's like where I was just gonna like go deeper in, because like we touched on like frequency and like how it's like gonna attract and like kind of like the universal law aspect of it.
Right.
But like I was just gonna say like, honestly, I was just gonna bring up values again, just because I feel like that's just always like what's helped me. But I feel
for decision making.
Yeah, for decision making, because I feel like
knowing who you are.
Yeah, no, that's like what plays into the authenticity. Yeah.
Oh yeah, authenticity, 100%. So unless you know. And here's another thing. When it comes to decision making and like overcoming parts of yourself, just kind of like what Joshua was talking about when he was on the podcast, was I leaned into things that made me feel uncomfortable, because I wanted to get the experience so that I became comfortable with making those kinds of decisions, making uncomfortable decisions, whether it be in a conversation, whether it be quitting a job, whether it be, doing stand-up or doing something you love in front of people, or sharing something in front of people that you're normally not comfortable sharing. That, as you do that, slowly begins to override this belief system of I can't, I'm not worthy, there's no way that I can create the life that I want. Or maybe not so much, that's kind of a drastic one. I don't know how, I'm sure there's people like that, but I hate myself, or I hate the way I look, or I hate that I always do this. And what happens is you get into this cycle of shame, and that cycle of shame is that negative thought pattern. And so long have you lived your life using that negative thought pattern as your drive. And so what do you continue to create but that negative thought pattern? You're creating opportunities to relive that negative thought pattern. So you'll live your life. Good things will happen to you because you have the yin and the yang. And there's a part of you that has hope. Everyone has hope. No matter if they say they don't have hope, they still have hope inside of them. That's just a human nature thing. Oh, I have no hope. Oh, I gave up hope a long time ago. No, because you always hope things will get better somehow. And somewhere deep down, you're like, man, I wish this would change. But you don't feed it as much. So it's a quick little blip, and you go right back into, nah, that's just not possible. I give that up, please. I didn't mean to sound like an old boomer there for a second. But I digress. So the part of you that has to recognize that I'm living in that cycle of shaming myself or living in that cycle of negative energies is what's going to create where you live. So I just drew a blank on the question you even asked, but I think we're going to hit right back on the topic of, you said how we're creating it, right? Okay. So think of it this way. If you have a dream, my dream is to be the #1 candy seller in the country. I want to make the best candy. But I doubt myself as a chef. But I'm so passionate about it, I'm going to jump in and do everything I can to make the best candy. There could be a point where you get, you're making candy, you're taste testing, but you never put anything out. You never try to sell it. You never show, you only show a few people. You don't ever try and put energy to make it global because you're afraid that you're not going to be accepted. There's a part of you that doubts that you can even make good candy. You can't compete. What you have to do is look at, where was this even created? Who told me that I wasn't going to be good enough? Who told me that it wasn't possible? Some people don't even start the dream. They have this dream and then think that it'll just magically happen. I got to win the lottery for this to happen. You don't got to win the lottery. You got to change your mind. You got to change your beliefs. You got to start from square one. You got to be a child again. You got to erase everything that you ever thought about yourself and restructure it. Oh, that's so hard. It's going to take forever. No. Do you have a willingness? Do you really want to do it? Okay. Then let's work on step 1. How do you desire to live your life? That's the key. When you think of you being authentic, what does that look like? Is that, being able to voice yourself? Is that being, just kind of hanging out, playing video games at home? Is that being an introvert? How does this authenticity look to you? What does that look like? Then when you find that, then you start to understand who you are. That's literally where the basis of it comes from. And I believe that when you actually go into a regular, like a dream, when you're sleeping, that's where you get to see who you really are. That's where you get to find out the things that you would do in certain situations, whether it's running from something or not speaking up and, something happening in the dream, or just going along and people having dreams about their jobs. And you're just like, well, this is, and then in their dreams, they're upset that they're doing the same job. Like, oh, I had the worst dream. I was like, bro. I hate having dreams about work. Yeah, or like, I had the worst dream. I had nightmares. You know why you have nightmares? You may be afraid to look at yourself in the mirror. You may be afraid to even, there may be something in your life that you're afraid of. Or you watch too many horror movies. I don't know. But there's this like constant fear or paranoia that you live by. And when you have that, it's okay to be prepared, right? It's okay to prepare for the worst. But it's not okay to live by always expecting the worst. There's a difference between preparing and expecting. I've had someone tell me,
I just always expect something bad to happen because it always does. That phrase right there just creates bad things to happen over and over and over and over and over and over again. It perpetuates. If you just start saying, if you switch that to, I just expect good things to happen and know they always will, then what are you going to get but good things to happen in alignments? So what I've gotten rid of, and like when I'm talking about my dreams and like, you know, what I want to attain, started getting rid of the how. I told this to my dad the other day. I said, I start to live in a delusion state of mind. Cops.
Yeah, that sounded at first like a...
An electric car or something rolling up.
Yeah.
But, so that state of mind allows you to create. And they want me to connect this. Great. This is cool. So when you're dreaming, when you're having a lucid dream, or you're, you know, going through these crazy things and crazy events are happening, you're driving a car through the mall, or you're, you know, skydiving over, you know, Japan, I don't know. Or you're just doing something crazy in a dream. You're like, I had the craziest dream. There was a monkey dressed like a clown and we were, you know, I don't know, hanging out. You have like crazy things, right? Mm-hmm. That's like a state of like delusion, quote unquote, right? Mm. You're like believing these crazy things are real or could actually happen in your dream state. So what you got to do, what I'm working on is doing that in my waking life. And I'll explain. So I've gotten rid of this notion that I don't have everything that I already desire and dream to have. Meaning, the only thing that is stopping me is the present moment to where it's in my physical reality. And that even then is not stopping me. It's just, it hasn't shown up yet. Mm-hmm. It's there. It's already done. It's already there for me. It's waiting. And literally, it just hasn't shown up yet. Whether it be the money to buy the retreat, or whether it be me hosting things, or doing, you know, retreat spaces, or being in, you know, having the garden and farm and like the nonprofit organizations and helping, you know, kids with special needs and like all these different things that I desired to create that are done. They're finished. It just, I haven't reached the same moment yet. It's not here yet. So I started living with yet. It's not here yet. It's not here. Or I have to do this, this, and this, and I haven't done these things, so it's not gonna come. It's all just, no, just not here yet. I'm not there yet. I'll get there. Right? I'll be there. I know that. Living in the delusion of knowing the things you can't see. Like the sometimes believing isn't always seeing, or sometimes seeing isn't always believing. Sometimes believing is seeing. Do you get that quote? Mm-hmm. You know what that's from?
Is that from Polar Express?
No, it's from Santa Claus.
Like, yeah, I knew it was like gonna be like some Christmas movie, bro.
Freaking love that movie,
dude. Those are yeah.
Yeah, it makes a lot of sense though. Like, the belief creates the reality. So that's basically what he's saying. Sometimes, you know, seeing it physically doesn't create the belief. Sometimes what you have to do is believe in the said thing that you desire to create, and then it becomes a physical seeing thing in front of you. Right? Same thing. It's the same thing with dreams. It's literally, I mean, that's literally explaining what a dream is. I don't believe some of these crazy dreams that have happened, right? But they happen, and I saw them happen. Same thing. I mean, if I believe that I can fly in this dream, and I believe that, you know, start to create this delusion in this dream, and the only way you actually get to that point is if you begin to fight off the negative or the
who they call them, naysayers. You know, the ones that people tell you, that's not possible, you can't do that, or there's no way, or, you know, what are you doing but closing your mind to the possibilities every time.
Yeah, I once had this friend / coworker, and he would always be like, he said this phrase like, oh, like, that's because negative things happen more often than positive things, or something like that. And I was like, well, why is it so much more easy for you to believe in the negative than it is for you the positive? Both exist, you're just choosing to believe one of them.
Yeah. Well, we're problem solvers by nature. So the only problems that we can fix is negative ones. Because when something bad happens, okay, I got a problem to work on. I got something I got to fix. Mm-hmm. Something good happens, you're just like, oh.
You just take it.
Just take it.
Yeah, that's true.
There's no space of gratitude. So by holding gratitude in the space of good things that happen, it allows you to then just kind of continue to create. Because there are no problems but the problems that you create in your mind. Mm-hmm. So even when something bad happens, it's like, oh, well, there's an opportunity to see the good in this. Well, maybe I wasn't meant to. Oh, my tire popped on my way to some appointment. Okay. What's the good thing? Okay, I get a new tire, and then you drive by, and there's a 10-car pileup that you just dodged. You know, small things like that. I don't know if that's happened to me before, though. Like I'm running a little late, and then I get there, or I'm driving, and I just see that, oh my God, this accident literally happened probably like 10 minutes ago. I'm glad I left 10 minutes later than I was supposed to.
Dude, that's crazy.
Could have been in that space. Could have been in that accident, right? And so the real part is, I mean, you get there by wanting to do the work, you know, by wanting to live a different life, by wanting to chase after your dreams. And it's not even chase after them. That term should just be eradicated. Because you're chasing. You don't need to chase. You create. You attract. The universe doesn't chase, right? It attracts. It creates, it builds. Like plants attract the bees, right? Different animals attract different animals, like just from a scent. Oh, I attracted lions because I'm in this one area. Lions need to hunt, right? They go out and they smell and they get attracted. I don't know if that's a terrible analogy. But anyways, you begin to live in a dream state. I think that's where I'm trying to get at. I think that's where they want to get at, is it becomes, you know, that all of these artists I love, like, you know, life, like I say, like, life is but a dream, you know. So why continue to make your dream a nightmare? If you can choose differently, why continue down one path? You know, why do you believe you're stuck in a cycle? Why do you believe, you know, so you want to understand those parts of yourself? Why are you continuing to? You got to listen and become aware of this constant, why, this always happens to me, and always me, and always this, and always that. It's always there. No, it's not always there. It's always there because you believe it's always there. You believe that it's always going to happen to you, that always these negative things are going to happen to you. This always happens. Oh, it's always something. It's always something, people say. Oh, that's just life. Mm-hmm. It's always something. We're reinforcing these phrases all the time. It becomes just a natural state. You know, it's, you know, what we get into is this perpetual complaining negativity state. Well, yeah, it's always going to be something if you got half the globe thinking on it, right? We're creating this reality. We're getting into a space of manifestation here. But that's literally
the dream. I think that's some of the biggest parts, is going into your dreams and understanding where your subconscious is needing attention. And by journaling about them or talking about them or thinking about them, you can actually make greater strides in your current reality by overcoming and understanding the problems and the situations that your sleeping dreams are trying to tell you. Because your subconscious wants to talk to you. Your soul wants to talk to you. Your guides, any ancestors, crossover loved ones, like, want to talk to you. My mom's had countless dreams of, like, people that have passed away and, like, speak to her in dreams, and she wakes up and then hears that they're dead. Like, that's happened to her a couple times.
Damn.
That's understanding and helping you cope and being like, oh, you're in a connecting part. Like, there's tons of people like that. My sister's had dreams of, like, family members being pregnant. Find out a couple days later, yep, they're pregnant. So, like, there's, like, this, connection that the dream state has to your higher consciousness and your subconsciousness that is trying to get to show you things that you can attain in your current reality, in your waking life. If you haven't seen that movie, go watch that movie right now, right after you get off this episode. Go watch it. A Waking Life. Perfect.
Sorry, I just had a question, and I think I know the answer, but it's like, I want to I guess dive into it more if we have time. But I was gonna ask, just like,
got all the time in the world.
Do you think that, like, your subconscious only holds or mostly holds negative things then? Because it's like, a lot of people say, like, oh, all your trauma is, like, trapped in your subconscious, or all these, like it's your subconscious that's telling you don't believe this, or you're not good enough. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like,
I mean, what do you think it is when you instinctively want to do good for someone?
That's your subconscious too?
It's your subconscious. It holds both. But if all you do is believe in the negative, then your subconscious is going to be filled more with negative things. And so that's where your beliefs also stem from, that are going to have an effect on the actions that you take and the thoughts that come in through your mind. Right? Which is why when you're doing neurolinguistic programming, when I'm doing those guided meditations and we're going deep into those spaces, we're bypassing into the subconscious state to help you find where these negative places are being held, these negative beliefs and things like that no longer support you, so you can pull them out and put in what it is you desire to actually live by. Right? That's where the trick is how do I get into this bypassing the subconscious to do that? And you can do that while you're awake. You can do that while you're in meditation. You can always be reprogramming your subconscious. Always. But do you believe that? Right? It all stems back to what you believe to be true about yourself. If you are in a state of, I believe this is who I am lazy, I'm helpful sometimes, I'm going to live this one life, I'm good at tech stuff, I can't really cook, I don't read well, I can speak a little bit, communicate well, but, like, it's just what you're doing is you're setting boundaries in your subconscious. You're setting limitations for yourself. And when you set those limitations and they get ingrained, you then live your current reality, your current life in those limitations. They're going to tell you to think outside the box, right? Try to expand, try to open up. You can do the same thing with your subconscious beliefs, which in terms of just beliefs, the things you continue to tell yourself, and how your actions reinforce those subconscious things. So, for example, in your dream, we're just going to use this because that was a great dream for this whole thing, was, I believe I'm either not good enough or inadequate, right? That's like one of the beliefs. What that showed up as, instead of the actual root of you saying that, it was, I don't think I can help you, I gotta go. And then you started, and then it was being chased. I'm being run out. I'm being ran out. So like, this is the same thing. It may not, in your actions, it may not show up as the deeper core belief, but it may show up as a smaller little paranoia or fear or sadness or depression or one of these lower vibration emotions. So when you find yourself in that state in your waking life, you got to look at, ooh, what am I believing to be true? I'm really mad that, I continue to have car problems. Okay, well, let's go back. Have you always had car problems? Yeah, I've always had car problems. That's just all I do. I can't ever get a car that works well for me. Boom, I'm always creating, I'm always having car troubles, whether it be tires or engine or battery. I'm always having car troubles. Those phrases I just said are constantly reinforcing, one, the creation of car problems, but two, this space of this deeper space where it's, I feel I don't deserve good things. Or I don't deserve to have things that work well for me. And you break it all the way down to this core belief, because then you can probably find the pattern of, well, maybe I don't deserve, maybe you have broken relationships too, not just broken cars, bad communication, broken relationships, or, I'm stringing through different jobs. I keep getting fired. I can't really hold a job, or, I have bad luck at restaurants, right? So you can boil it down to like deserving good things, or maybe a lot of things that he gets breaks or loses them or something like that, right? The TV, I've gone through like 10 TVs. I haven't gone through 10 TVs. This is for example's sake. But, you find that everything you have or bring into your life breaks or doesn't work, which is why you can manifest from a negative lower state, but the manifestation may not be exactly what you desired and what you've created in your mind, because you're expecting it to leave at some point or break at some point. You have this doubt, and you call it preparing, and you call it, well, I just know it's going to happen. Well, you know it's going to happen because you just thought it, and you created it, and you believe it's going to happen. I'm not saying that you shouldn't at least acknowledge, but I would not recommend living from that space of always expecting the worst, or feeling like you don't deserve good things, or feeling like you're a victim and going through that. And then there are learned habits from people you live through. And we went on a whole different tangent from dreams, but that's okay, because this is actually, it still ties in, and it's creating the dream. Because what they really wanted, what they really wanted for everyone to understand through this whole thing, was that your current reality is no different from the dreams that you have when you go to bed at night. The only difference is, one, you're asleep and you're going through the subconscious, and you're recognizing the subconscious. The subconscious is able to play out a little bit more, and you can recognize it. Oh, ooh, that was a crazy dream. Okay, well, think about everything in that dream, or write it down and see, what were you feeling, blah, blah, going through that. And then
when you wake up, it's the same thing. Ooh, that was a crazy day. Okay, what happened throughout the day? Who did you run into? What situations happened? What were you thinking? What happened, throughout the day? Was it an easy day where you were able to interact with people, or was it a hard day where you had people kind of nagging at you, blah, blah, blah? So, okay, let me look at all that. Then I can start to look at the beliefs about myself and what was being challenged in my subconscious. Giving away all my secrets.
It's good, bro.
But no, that's how, that's where the coaching, that's what stems from. Life. Living your full expression. When you're able to be authentic, your dreams come true. We're able to live 24/7 authentically. There is no limit. There is no limit.
I have one more question for you.
Shoot.
But we don't have to really go that deep into it.
Dude, it's going to happen. We're already an hour and a half in.
Shoot. All right. Last one, I promise. But this was just because I don't know.
Look at Freya. She's so cute. Hey, baby. Come here.
I was just going to ask you, what do you think, Josh? Why do you think we have these different levels of consciousnesses, and, like, why do we have subconscious? Like, why is there things that are...
God.
That's why I was like, we can't go into this, bro. That's going to bring us to another 2.5 hours.
Fucking loaded question.
Well,
you already asked the question, dog. Should we leave him on a cliffhanger?
We could leave them on a cliffhanger. We could also, leave it to see what they think, too. Because... like, when you're describing all that, because I'm like, what's the point of having a subconscious then? Like, why do we need to dig, like, into this, like, weird psyche that we have that's, like, hidden from us? We don't really know what it means.
It's the only thing that reminds us of the true power that we hold within us. Because it stores so much. Right? Maybe it's not the subconscious, but it's all the layers in it together. We had to build levels so that way, and I believe this was created so that we can find our way back to our true nature. Because when you are arriving on this plane, you forget everything. Everything. And so they call it, you're waking up. You're waking up. You're opening your eyes. You're seeing. You're bringing awareness. What are you doing but accessing all these multiple layers of consciousness and recognizing how they all play together? And there's no separate space from what you are thinking and creating and believing to what's actually happening externally to you. Whether it be physical ailments in the body, whether it be the way, where you live, who you are surrounding yourself with, whatever that may be. Right? So there's levels to it. There has to be levels to it. Because this is the greatest school on earth.
Earth. Yeah. Yeah, because I was thinking, like, your subconscious could be, like, all the things that you're, like, obviously not fully aware of. And, like, I feel enlightenment is, like, the full awareness of knowing, like...
There's levels to enlightenment.
Yeah. Well, yeah, there's levels to enlightenment, too.
Like...
I don't even think there's, like, a full...
Like, you get to that space.
Yeah.
And then there's more.
Exactly. So it's always just, like, a forever just escalator, basically.
No.
But not linear.
No. There's an end. We don't want to believe there's an end. But
an end to what, though? Because consciousness is infinite.
But what I mean by that is there's a...
Freya, look at Freya.
Get down.
She's going to be in the camera. That's hilarious.
What are you doing?
She was about to, like, Spider-Man crawl up that whole poster.
What I mean by there's an end is
when you leave this plane, you're going to wake up to the reality that we can't see. And you're going to understand all of what this was about, and you're going to be given a choice. Now, there's a choice that will be, they say, subconsciously made. And then there's a choice that if you don't understand, okay, not that you don't understand, but there was lessons that have yet to be discovered to allow you to make the other subconscious choice when you pass. Meaning, you come back and reincarnate over and over again until you align with what your soul is really trying to do, which is get back to source. When that's happening, that's where you reach what I feel is the end, where you have full active consciousness, and it's like the dream when you're asleep and you want to create something and it just happens instantaneously.
Mm-hmm.
I want chocolate cake. Here's a boom, chocolate cake right there. You know, you could be also conscious of it to say, I want to experience love physically and in all aspects. Boom. Now you're put into a baby. You're born into this realm. Right? I want to experience this or something along those lines, and it shoots you somewhere else, right? So then you have to be really conscious of it, what it is you desire to do, which is why the true potential of humanity is when you are able to put an intention on something and connect to it emotionally, physically, mentally, that it creates very fast when all those things are in line. And it's the same way, but on a macro level. Right? It's like you're a bookkeeper in that library. And when I think of something, I can control whether I want to live it or just kind of witness it or study it. It's kind of what I believe. What I'm getting at, why I say there's an end. It's more like an end of reincarnation. An end to living the lessons over and over again.
Dude, you know what's insane is that, like, that explanation just made me think that there must be, like, this, like, incredibly strong universal language. Because, like, even, let's say you're a soul that dies, but you're a human. But I feel like that, if you're, like, a human, and, like, the way we describe it now or can think of it is, like, only from a human's perspective of, like, okay, well, what experience do we want to have next? But when you're in that space of being, like, everything and nothing too, I feel like it could literally be anything that we've never even thought of. Like,
yeah,
there's not only, I feel like maybe is there not only love, like, is there more to be discovered, like something even
something even greater than that?
Yeah,
Interesting. Like we can only feel to a certain level. Ooh, all right, so we're gonna end there. But either our next topic will be death.
That would be a good one.
Dun, dun, dun. Or frequency and vibration.
I like both of those.
We do have a guest coming on for our very next episode, but to further this conversation, maybe we'll do a part 1, part 2. No. We'll just kind of let you know, and when it's coming out, that we're continuing the conversation from this episode. It'll be named something different, though. But I want to thank you all for tuning in here to episode 20 of Swimming with Sepsey.
Thanks for sticking out with us. I know we went on some tangents, but I hope that you're able to follow. I would recommend listening to this one again, a couple times even. Any questions that popped up, dude, type them down below. Comment. Let us know what's going on. I'm building a Discord channel for everybody. So all of those people that follow, we're going to have a Discord channel for discussion, open talks, lives. We'll do live recordings from there, or just like live Q&As as we're recording, so you guys can tune in. Because Discord, you can just hop on your app and tune in and listen and stuff like that. So building that right now. Do appreciate you all. Much love. Have a beautiful rest of your day.
Thanks for tuning in.
Peace.
Peace.
Thank you for joining us on this episode of Swimming with Sepsey. If this resonated with you, please like, subscribe, and follow us on our YouTube channel, or listen on all platforms or wherever you get your podcasts. Any support is greatly appreciated. You can find us on our Patreon page at patreon.com/swimmingwithsepsey. You can also follow us on Instagram at swimmingwithsepsey. And if something did arise today, maybe you need some clarification or want some help or just need some guidance and don't know where to go, feel free to reach out to me via email, swimmingwithsepsey@gmail.com, or you can find my website at soullyliving.com, where I offer coaching packages, readings, and things of that nature. Again, thank you for tuning in. Very grateful. Namaste. And we'll find you on the next episode of Swimming with Sepsey.